Welcome to An Awful World, but not awful like you think.
This is the show where we discuss whether we would have discovered important advances in a world exclusively full of Haylies and Libbies. I'm Haylie.
And I'm Libby. And today we're going to be talking about magnets and whether in a world full of Haylies and Libbies we would have discovered magnets.
Do you think we would?
Honestly, I have no idea. I think we would discover it, but I don't think that we would have any understanding of why it is the way it is.
No. Oh my God. The research I did, the very little research I did, is I don't know that I still get it.
I am right there with you. When I was reading about it, I was like, this is wild.
Yes.
Like, no wonder like ancient civilizations believed in so many like, you know, gods and all these like wild religious beliefs, because if you saw that just naturally occurring, okay, because let me just jump in to something that I read.
Yeah.
That basically when they first started observing magnets, like they noticed if like a magnet was like suspended or something was suspended between two magnets, that it would always turn the same way. So let's just back up and think about the fact that if you saw like a rock suspended in the air spinning, I would just be like, that's witchcraft. I don't know what's happening.
Pure
here.
magic.
Yes. Which, I just, and that's like the whole idea of compasses, right? Comes from magnets and how they figured out that it would always point north. I have no idea. But like, I don't know. Let's jump into it, I guess.
So first things first, something I had to double check. Magnets are just rock.
They are. There's certain kinds of rocks.
Yes.
And like it's only like 3 types of rocks, or like 3 types of metals specifically that are magnetic.
So there's like magnetite, which I think is just like the overall magnet rock situation.
Which I think, yes. Okay, so this was interesting, but go on. You go with what you're saying.
But then there's lodestone, which is a type of magnetite.
Yes.
But it only attracts iron.
Yes.
And that's nuts.
So like magnetite is actually just like lodestone that was found in magnesia, which I think was like, I didn't write this down, so I can't remember really, but I feel like that's like modern day, like Middle East, because I think it was like Mesopotamia area. So like maybe like Syria, some other things. I don't really know a lot about Mesopotamia, but I think that's where it was. So that's where the word comes from, is that it was magnesia, magnetite, magnet. But it's what a complicated concept. And I really don't know how they figured anything out, but no wonder I don't understand it, because once I started to look more into it, I was like, this is so closely related to electricity that it just makes sense that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
To me.
It's too complicated. There's so much with it. And there's like the magnetic poles.
Yes, which apparently like flip.
But I don't know what that means. What do you mean that it flips?
I don't also really know what it means.
Okay.
Other than I think it happens like every like 500,000 years or something insane.
Oh, okay. So we
like, it's
probably will have no need to worry.
Exactly.
Love
exactly.
It.
But yeah, for some reason, like whatever occurred, like, you know, now true north is pointing the wrong way. But I think like by the time we figured that out, we knew well enough like north and south to know like something's off here. At least I think. Now, I think maybe not, though, because the reason that we know that the magnetic pole switches is from rocks. Like rocks tell us so much about the history of the universe. It's insane, because it's like, okay, so here's what I wrote down that made sense to me. So it's like basically the earth is a giant magnet.
Yes.
And the poles are constantly attracted to each other.
Yes.
So I really don't know how we haven't just like collapsed into ourselves yet. But beyond that,
maybe it's like a tension thing.
I don't. That's not. Yeah.
Here we go. Look, science.
Yeah.
Maybe
science,
I am a STEM girly. You don't know.
You don't know. You don't know my life.
That's right.
Okay. So when there's magma inside of volcanoes, which is just obviously like, you know, hot rocks from the earth, when it comes out, it oxidizes and it's got, you know, it hardens and cools off, and it's got some magnetic qualities to it.
And
it's sort of like like carbon dating, which I also don't understand, but like, or like trees, like how trees have rings so we can tell like how many years old they are.
That at least makes more sense to me.
It does to me too. But apparently we know, like at the time this rock was formed, it was, you know, this was the direction of the poles. How we figured that out?
Who would know that? Do you think sometimes people just made that up?
Yes, I wonder this a lot because I actually kind of went into a deep dive on this whole magnetic thing because I was like, why are only some metals magnetic? Like, why is like aluminum, I don't think is magnetic.
No, I don't think so.
But I don't know that for sure. But like,
maybe.
Why? So apparently it's because magnetic materials all have their atoms like aligned the same direction, which is what gives like the attraction or the like aversion to each other. And then I was like, how do we know? Like, if an atom can't be observed by the human eye, like, how do we know? And apparently, I don't know how we did it before, but apparently now we have microscopes that can see atoms. And I was like looking.
Really?
I was looking at pictures of it. It's really weird. And you can see like the little like protons and electrons and all this other trons in there.
Other trons.
The Tron.
Megatron.
Legacy. Yeah, it's a whole thing. You wouldn't understand. So yeah, you can see all of that now. But I'm like, but how did we figure that out before?
Right.
And so I read some article that made absolutely zero sense to me, which was like, well, we're able to observe it, you know, in the way that metals react to things and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, it still doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no. Again, witchcraft.
It is witchcraft.
Totally witchcraft.
Hey, listener, if you're in the Indianapolis area looking for warm photos of you and your loved ones, you're going to want to check out Hey Blondie. Hey Blondie is committed to capturing people from all walks of life through all stages of life, from a new baby to graduation. Check out HeyBlondiePhoto.com for more information and give them a like on Facebook and Instagram at Hey Blondie Photo.
Now, something I was thinking about is you talked about the poles being that true north is now not north, it's the south. I think is what you said.
I think it's
that it like flips.
It can flip, but I think right now it's still like the magnetic North Pole is like near the Earth's North Pole, but like just a little off center.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say is that I learned that the pole is not true north. But I'm also kind of like, we could have made true north whatever we wanted. And if the poles were already what we considered north and south, why is that not true north?
So I think how we came up with that is like where the North Star is. So like the whole like big invention with them discovering magnets and then being able to create compasses is that the compass would always point towards true north without being able to see the North Star, which is how we used to navigate before. And I don't think the North Star necessarily lines up with the North Pole. I think it must line up with it, like I think, but I don't know. Do I look like Neil deGrasse Tyson? Like I don't understand.
Yeah,
any of it. It's insane. So then I was reading that the like most magnetic force in the universe is like a collapsed star.
Oh.
And I just don't like, how are we not sucked into that? Like, how is it still a thing if it's collapsed into itself? Are we going to collapse into ourselves even though we're like planet and not a star? I have no idea.
Probably. I mean, I would just assume that at some point this is all going to end.
We're sending a message of hope to the people.
Yes,
for sure.
That's what I'm here for.
All means nothing. This is going to end.
Exactly. I am the face of optimism. This is all going to just come collapsing down around us.
So don't get used to anything.
Exactly.
It's not going to be here forever.
Just live your life while you're here. Do what you want.
Yeah. So I just was like, it's such a wild concept to me. But okay, so when I was reading about it, literally prehistoric people discovered magnets in like 600 BC. That's a long ass time ago.
That is a long time ago.
And then our like understanding of it is so developed in an awful world.
That's my thing. I don't know that we could do that. I think we would be like, wow, this rock sticks to this rock.
Right.
Or this rock hates this rock. Now, could we get past that? I don't know. I think we could make things like how we have the
kitchen magnets.
Yes, the fronts of refrigerators.
That was my first thought. I was like, we would absolutely be like, ooh, we can like hang things up and decorate with these. Like,
yes,
it holds things together. How fun.
Yes, we would be like, our walls have magnets.
Have magnets in them.
It's fine.
Everything's magnetic. So you can just, wait, why aren't we doing that now?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like that would be a really good idea.
It would be.
Should we start our own business?
We construct exclusively magnetic walls.
Exactly.
The problem is that's very heavy. And much like a star, our business is going to collapse into itself.
Rats.
Like the houses we built. But
Cute.
It was a novel idea and I'm here for it.
All right.
Maybe we could make like magnetic paint.
I definitely thought you were going to say magnetic pants. And I was like, that's not a good idea.
Stay in your seat with your magnetic pants. Don't you come up here. No, not magnetic pants. Magnetic paint.
Oh, that's an idea.
Yeah. So I really think that is the only use we would have for it. We'd be like, we don't understand how this works, but this is sticky. But like not sticky, like sucky.
Yeah. Sucky. It's real sucky.
Ooh, I was just thinking of Buddy the Elf.
Yeah.
At the mail. In the mailroom. Ooh, sucky. Anyway.
Now I have a question because you seem to have done more like scientific research on the situation.
And I still don't understand.
Same. Okay, so there's the North Pole and there's the South Pole. So are some magnets North magnets and some magnets South magnets?
My understanding, I just wish you could all see the face that Haylie gave me. My understanding is no.
Shoot.
That all magnets have poles on them.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So you know how if you just have
like two magnets laying around.
Yep, exactly. That they won't go together because they have poles that are adverse to each other. But if you flip them, they can to each other.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. That's my understanding of that.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my very limited understanding of magnets.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, did you do any research about compasses and how you can just literally build your own compass with a paper clip and a magnet?
Okay, well, I didn't do that research.
I ended up on some WikiHow page and I was like, I'm not going to be doing this. But thank you for the information. That's why I have my iPhone that tells me which way to go.
Yes. And even Siri's like, head north. And I'm like, I don't know north. I barely know left and right. Good God. Am I heading towards the Taco Bell or towards the McDonald's? Which
Tell
way?
me. I will say I feel the Libbys of the world are a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? We're geographically, we understand things like that. If I know where I am, if you drop me in downtown Indianapolis, I know which way is north and south and east and west. Which is here in your house, we're sitting, the sun's not out. I have no idea which way I'm facing right now. No clue.
Well, and that's much better than me, where whichever way I am facing is north.
Is north. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
North is always in front of me. South is always behind me. West is right. And
nope.
West is left. East is right.
Yep.
And that is the way that goes.
You just remember, never eat soggy waffles. Did you learn that in school?
Yeah, but that was so long ago. And I don't use it. So.
Oh, I do. But I just know, I could just visualize in my mind. Okay, if I'm going this way, I'm going west, left and right, whatever, east and west. But yeah, we're just more directionally aware, the Libbys of the world.
Which we're going to need, because something I say all the time is if I was born in a time that was pre-GPS, which technically I was, but by the time I could drive, we had GPS. I would have just gotten lost somewhere and had to start a new life.
Right? Like you just be like, well, I don't know how to get back, so I guess I live here now.
Yes. When we lived in our old apartment, I got lost 3 times in the apartment complex and had to call my husband.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
And we had lived there for a while. It's embarrassing. I cannot find my way.
It's just strengths and weaknesses. You
That's
know,
right.
The Libbies of the world will help the Hayleys of the world to figure out where to go. Although I will say it does sort of blow my mind that like it was a very real thing in our lifetime that people like stopped at gas stations and used maps and like asked for directions. And like, I was just thinking about this in terms of like, you know, let's say it's like 1985 and you want to go to your friend Sarah's house or whatever. And Sarah's like, I live in this neighborhood off the corner of this and this. And then it's like, okay, so go in and then you're going to have to figure out, like, you're going to have to give directions about like which streets to turn on. Like, I think about the neighborhood I live in now and like, would I reasonably be able to tell someone like, go right on this street and then go left on this street? Like, would I know the names? Not necessarily.
No. This is, so when I first started driving, my dad would take a piece of paper and he would say, okay, you're going to go 3 stoplights. And he would draw it out for me. You're going to go 3 stoplights and then you're going to turn right and you will see a Starbucks. You're going to go past the Starbucks until you see the Home Depot. Then you will take a left and go 2 more stoplights. Like this is the level of detail I had to have.
You're just a landmarks girly.
Yes, I do not know streets. I still don't know streets. We talked about it the other day. You asked me how I get to work and I was like, and I get off of 70 and I don't know what street that is. And I think it took us 10 minutes to figure out what street that was.
And I was like, well, it's this one. And you're like, is it? Is it?
And then I was like, I turned by that whatever house. And you're like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And then, yeah, it was a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
But yeah, you're just more of a landmarks person. You're like, okay, I know, which is like better than being just like entirely directionally challenged, right? Like
that's true.
I don't know. Like sometimes my boyfriend and I will play these video games and like, I'm so directionally challenged in those. I'm constantly like, where are you? I can't figure that out. I don't know how to get to you.
Yeah.
He's like, are you coming to help me? I don't know where you are. This is a 4-level map. I can't even, just look for me on the map. I can't find you. I don't know. There's so many different ways to get to you. It's just complicated.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all this to say, I would never probably come up with a compass because I don't know what north is. So I wouldn't know where it's pointing and I wouldn't know how to use it. So if anyone made a compass, do you think you could make a compass?
No.
Okay.
No. And let me tell you why. Because it all goes back to the very good beginning, which is a very good place to start, which is that if I see this magnet suspended or, you know, a rock suspended rather, I'm not going to be like, oh, that's spinning north. I'm not even sure I would have come up with like directions anyway.
No.
Like I'm not sure that would have happened.
Yeah.
At all in an awful world.
I think we would have maps eventually, which we'll talk about
We'll talk
later.
about cartography. Yeah.
But they would not be what we have today is my assumption. And I just don't know that cardinal directions would be what we would use.
I don't think so either because and it's like a whole other topic we'll have to discuss about like astronomy and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I ever would have figured out stars and directions. And, you know, maybe some of that is attributed to the fact that we live in such populated areas that it's very hard to see stars like, you know, like ancient civilizations would see them, you know, because the way that they pick out like, this is Orion and like, this is what we see. And then you're kind of like, yeah, I see it. But like, how did you know so distinctly? Like, this is what this looks like. And I think it's just because they could see it better than we can.
Probably. Also because they had less, I think, just distractions in general and less to do. So they're probably spending more time looking at the stars. We've got time. And we're like, yeah, it's a bunch of dots in the sky. We get it. Yep. Move on.
Cool.
Let me go watch Star Wars.
Go see a Star War. Yeah. So I don't think that I would have ever, any Libbies necessarily would have ever come up with that. understanding to be able to develop a compass.
No.
I'm not sure that's an observation I ever would have made anyway. Like, look at it spinning this direction, which is so interesting because I feel like we talk about how we are very detail-oriented people. Mm-hmm. But I do think that's something that we're like, well, can't explain it. So not going to try to figure it out. Like,
yeah. Some things I think we would just be like, that's magic.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah. That's wild.
But you know what we can do? We can stick stuff to our walls with it.
Exactly.
Cool.
And I'm like, what else are magnets? What else do they make? Or what do we do with them besides refrigerators, compasses?
That's a good question. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there are, so there's stuff with magnets and electricity.
Yes.
Right. So apparently, I can't confirm this because I still don't understand.
Okay.
But obviously, Earth has an electromagnetic field around it.
Okay.
If you didn't know that, now you do.
Heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what it means.
Me either, really. But apparently, it like really protects us from like a lot of dangerous shit.
Oh.
Like.
Well, thank you, magnets.
Like potentially the sun's like harmful. I don't know. There's something with
isn't
like.
That the ozone layer?
I don't know.
Are they the same?
No, I don't think they're the same thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Stop
How
asking
many layers
me.
are up there?
Stop asking me about the stratosphere. I don't
the
know.
whole show.
It's a show about nothing. No, I don't fully understand what like happens with electromagnetic field something. But like they're closely related because there's something with like Ben Franklin and a key and a kite. You see it, right?
See it, right?
Yeah. It's like, I feel there was something going on with magnets there that somebody somewhere at some point in time was toying with them and was like, oh, this can also influence electricity. And so that's the thing that I don't fully understand. So please don't ask me any questions about it because I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you think, now, don't judge me,
okay.
but
never.
If we have, and you said an electromagnetic field?
I think so.
Okay.
You're asking me questions again.
So I know. But so do you think we have a field, and then do you think all the other like planets and stars have a field, and that's how we don't like hit each other? Because we're all like,
that's a good
like
question.
Tension keeping us apart?
No. I don't think that's what is happening.
Cool.
Because I think we are slowly getting farther from things.
Oh.
I think. Right? Like Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
Which I know we could both sing the whole like Big Bang song right now.
That's true, but I don't think people want to hear that.
No, we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But I think, again, this is someone out there is going to listen to this and be like, she is so wrong about all of this. But I feel like we're getting farther and farther away from each other. But I think that's maybe not correct either, though. I think it's something with the sun about like gravity and something, we're all circling around it. I don't know, some sort of centrifugal force, some other intelligent scientific words.
All right.
And
I'll believe you.
That's my explanation of electromagnetic fields. I have no idea if other planets have them, but my guess would be no, because I don't know. I don't know that other planets, like some planets are just big, like gas planets, right? Mm-hmm. There's no like land really. So there's no core that's like, it's my understanding based off of my love for the film, The Core, that the like inner part of the earth is just hot metal.
Yes.
Spinning.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes. Yes, we will. I'm sure soon, listener. But I'm not sure that all planets are like that. In fact, I think that most planets aren't like that. And that's why they don't have land, because
a crust, if you will.
Yes. Of
gross,
buttery, flaky crust, a crispy. Do you know that video? Yes. I love that video. And that's exactly what you made me think of when you said it like that. But yeah, I don't think like, because is it or is it not true that like land exists because of like volcanoes? Some of it.
I would assume,
right?
Some.
Like Hawaii is Hawaii because of volcanoes.
Yeah.
But also maybe some of it's like stuff underwater meeting and then, I don't know.
I would assume that some of it's from underground, like the tectonic plates, and then they push each other up.
Here we go
That's
again.
how we get mountains.
Yes, that's true.
But then there's the other ones that that
slip under each other.
Subvert?
Subduct?
Maybe.
Something.
If you could see us, our hand gestures would really tell you what we're doing.
Yes, you would fully understand what's happening with tectonic plates.
Yes.
Going under each other. But anyway, yeah. So I don't think that again, that's like thinking that like other planets like have water or like other like naturally occurring metals like we have here. But I don't know.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Now, one more question.
Okay.
Do you think, even though we probably couldn't make compasses, do you think we'd make something cooler than what we have now with magnets?
That's a great question. Honestly, I've never thought of that. I don't know.
I think we would.
Like what kind of do you have any ideas of like what that would look like? No, but you're confident that we would come up with it.
I'm really confident. My husband likes to say I have a blind confidence, and I'm going to apply it to magnets. I have no confidence in compasses, but other things being magnetic, I think we would be really into that for a while. It would be like a weird phase Haylies and Libby's went through. The magnetic phase,
Mom. The magnetic phase. I love that. Well, and I think we don't want to sell ourselves short because obviously it didn't happen in one person's lifetime of just I discovered this magnet. I did something with it. It makes sense to me. That did not happen in a lifetime of a person.
That's true.
That occurred over thousands of years. So yeah, I think I don't want to sell us short, but yeah, I think we'd probably come up with something cool.
Yeah.
It would definitely be decorative.
Yes. It would, it's always going to be something decorative.
It is. It's not going to be functional. So just leave your hopes and dreams for that at the door.
Exactly.
It's going to be something cute.
Practicality is not our strong suit.
No.
But making things cute.
That
is where we
it.
shine.
Yes, we do. So that's really all I've got on magnets. I don't know. Do you have any other interesting questions or things that you came up with?
No, I think that's really it.
Okay. So conclusion. Yeah, I think that we would have discovered magnets in an awful world.
Yeah.
What we would have done with them, God only knows.
Yeah, I don't think that we would know the poles.
No.
We definitely wouldn't have compasses. But would we understand that they stick to each other and that we can use that to our advantage?
Yes. We're so there. Okay, well, thanks for listening, guys. Tune in next time. We're going to be talking about the very exciting topic of glass. Ooh, see you then.
Get excited. Wow.